places I have longed to find. Give me a fever that is strong enough to break these binds.
Yes, guys, we are back with a special episode of L Bins. Nobbins is back from his holiday, which was not approved. it was not an approved holiday.
Outrageous.
Yeah, we are back, and it's a timely show as well because there's a lot to discuss. Southgate getting cooked on the timeline. Foden getting cooked on the timeline. Everyone's getting cooked on the timeline. There's lots of stuff. Trent getting cooked as well by some people. So there's a lot to discuss. We're going to get into it. We're going to have some real conversation. So guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. Make sure you subscribe to Nobbins. We'll get that link in the description. Yes, in the chat for a shout out as well. But before we do, Nobbins, how was your holiday, Bray? I've not spoke to you since you've been back.
It was lovely. Thank you so much for asking. Yes, I went to Gran Canaria, which is a Spanish island off the coast of West Africa. It was very lovely, fantastic weather. I got burnt on the first day, as you do. But it was all about, I think I messaged you, it's all about the food and the drinks. For my holidays, I like to chill. I'm not someone who goes traveling on holiday. I like to basically just sit around and do a lot of nothing and just relax and just eat a lot of food and put on a lot of weight. And I think that's what I've done. So it's success as far as I'm concerned. And probably good timing as well, to be fair, because I missed that whole nonsense with the City in the Premier League situation. I watched some shows you went on. I could only tune in for a few minutes because I got too annoyed. And yeah, it was very good. Thank you for asking, mate. But glad to be back, of course, on LB's channel for Albins.
We are, of course, glad to have you back. Glad you had a good holiday. Guys, let's get some yes in the chat. Let's see who we've got in the building today. We've got Brett. Good to see you, mate. Muzzardino, Darshil, Dash, Leoxicon, Steve, Bensi, Hiya. Stephanie's in the building. EM, AK, Rodrigo, Macman, Georgios, Robertsy, David, Stubbsy, Beyond Beliefs in the building. Quinny's here as well. Big up to Leroy Sane, Nariman, Sinathan, Michelle Sear, Justin, and many, many more. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Make sure you guys have smashed that like button for me, guys. I need one person to hit the thumbs up button on YouTube to get us to 50 likes. MCFC, I'll come to your super chat in a moment. But of course, we are going to be discussing last night's game because there's been a lot of discourse surrounding Phil Foden and Southgate's getting a little bit of blame as well. Some talk on Jude, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and much more. But What's your take on England last night, sort of generically first, before we get into sort of the specifics on these players?
So it was the definition of a game of two halves. I was so happy with that first half, but particularly the first of like 35 to 40 minutes. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that for me, that's actually the best we've played under Southgate in terms of like the fluidity of the football. I was staggered that he basically played the Pep, like what Pep's played this season. I'm sure we'll get onto that later. But I thought that was a really promising stuff. The players looked up for it. There was some really good link up. Our forwards just looked great in general. Defense looked solid. Gahey was wonderful throughout the whole game, to be fair. But then we sort of lost our way in the second half, and that optimism sort of died a very quick death. It shades of the Euros final against Italy, where we almost scored too early, and then instead of opting to continue to take the game to the opponent, we just backed off, and we can talk about the specifics of like the formation shifts and whatnot, but it was just really disappointing to see Southgate basically go back to his old ways. Pickford being asked to punt the ball forwards, which isn't ideal because Serbia. I had a Serbian fan in my chat, and he told me that we're the tallest side at the Euros. If that's true, that's the thing. So I don't know why we're punting it long in that situation. So yeah, and maybe on the balance of play, we actually deserve to draw that game. So game of two, I'm hopeful and as an England fan, I'm optimistic that we can see more of the first half display, but the second half is probably more what I expected to see this tournament, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I thought first 25, 30 minutes especially, I thought we played quite well. We was dominating the ball, getting the ball forward and that, and then it just sort of drifted off. And as you say, we just sort of faded back into sort of the standard Southgate sort of tactics of just being super boring, super slow, no real sort of directness in our play or speed or aggression or anything. It was just sort of, we just coast by. And listen, we got the win, so that's a good thing. But there are issues that we need to discuss, and we're going to discuss them now in terms of Foden. We'll start off with him. He's getting cooked on the timeline, bro. He's getting cooked quite a lot by a lot of people. Is the cooking fair? And if the cooking is fair, who's to blame? Southgate for playing him left wing, or is Foden just not doing enough? Because Cesc Fabregas, well-respected player, he's saying that Foden needs to do more. He needs to get involved in the more. He needs to take the game by the scruff of its neck. For me personally, I just think if you're playing him off that left-hand side, you're not going to get the best Foden you can possibly get if you play him off that left-hand side. In my opinion, he should just be behind Kane, sort of giving backup options for Kane, playing those balls in behind for Kane, because I think he's better at that than Jude Bellingham anyway. And I think Jude Bellingham can play that sort of that more box-to-box role, helping Rice out a little bit more defensively. And by the way, we dominate possession in most of these games anyway, so he's still going to be in an attacking force. You could potentially play like an Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side, which I think will probably give you a little bit more balance. But I just think like Southgate is trying to fit Jude Bellingham, Foden, and Trent all into the team, but he feels that he can't play Trent right back, so he's forcing him into midfield. And by forcing Trent into the midfield, it just throws off Phil Foden as well. And I don't think Trent particularly plays well in midfield either. So I just think like that one decision to play Trent in midfield impacts two players, because you're not going to get, I don't think, a very good performance from Trent in the midfield, and you're not going to get a very good performance from Foden out on that left-hand side. So you're just fucking yourself over, in my view.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I think Walker played well yesterday, but I still maintain that Trent should be at right back because he's the best right back we have. He obviously needs to be in the side, and I agree with you on the whole midfield dynamic situation. So that does solve a lot of issues, to be fair. Yeah, in terms of Foden, I think the first thing to say is that it's almost as if the season that we've just had didn't happen, because people are sort of talking about Foden as if it's sort of like a few seasons ago, and it's like people have forgotten that he was literally just the Premier League player of the season and the best player in the Premier League by a fair margin or whatever. So those people in the first instance need to chill out. If we're talking about the actual performance, in the second half, apart from Rice, I think everyone was poor, to be honest, from an England perspective. I don't think there was and Gahey, sorry. I thought everyone else was basically either air or just bad. to be honest. So I'm not going to defend anyone in the second half outside of Gahey and Rice, and maybe a bit of Jude as well, to be fair. The issue I have, though, is that, as you say, Foden's being cooked on Twitter, etc. And I'm sure that I watched a different first half. I have rewatched that first half 4 times now, just to make sure that I'm happy with my. Because I stayed up until like 3 a.m. yesterday just to make sure, because I was just staggered at what I was seeing people say, like on my live chat, on my watch along, on my post-mortem, and even on Twitter. I was like, I must be missing something. And I've watched that first half far too many times than I should have done. And the reality of the situation is, Foden was actually quite good in that first half, to be honest. He should have got 2 goals. If Walker plays a simple ball across to him, he has a tap-in. If Saka plays the simple cross to him, he has a tap-in. Go look at the movement of Foden for those 2, what should be goals, and it's fantastic movement from Foden. In the first 5 minutes, he creates the first chance of the game where Stones marauds forwards. It's a deft little touch by Foden, and Bellingham, who is the only player trying to find Foden, finds him, and Foden's touch does let him down. I accept that, but it was a really good, promising idea. The second half, again, don't excuse that. The reason why maybe he didn't set the world alight is because I've got some pictures. I don't know if it's helpful for me to like send you them or not. Let me if you want me to send them. But there is a really in the first instance, there's a really interesting like average positions thing. It was actually on the BBC. You look at the average position of like Trippier, for example. It's important to note what was the system we played in that first half, which made us play so well. If you're a City fan, you'll be familiar with it. It was basically Pep's system this season, where the fullback pushes up to the wings. That allows whoever is the nominal winger to tuck inside. Think about Walker and Foden last season. And that's how you get Foden into midfield, but starting out wide. That was the idea of what we did in the first half. Trippier pushed out to left wing in the first half, Foden technically in midfield. But the reason why it didn't quite work out that well is because Trippier is a right-footed right back. He's not a left-footed left back. So he's not... and we've talked about this before, you and I, LB. Why did Grealish and Cancelo not work that well? Because Grealish needed that overlapping fullback, and Cancelo was not going to do that. And it's a similar thing with Trippier. So Trippier was taking up some nice positions, but there was little to no connectivity. Would you like to hazard a guess how many times Trippier passed to Foden in that first half?
In the first half?
Yes. Considering that Trippier was his left wing partner, Foden mainly left central midfield. How many times did Trippier pass him?
I mean, so I'd expect it to be about 17.
And how many do you think it was?
But I assume it's pretty low, so I don't know, like maybe 4.
0.
For 0 times? 0.
No, not a single pass in that first half from Trippier to Foden. And that is exemplified in the passing network. I'm not having a go at Gahey because I thought he was fantastic defensively, but we even saw for the first goal, how was that goal created? Because the right centre-back pushed up with his right foot and played in Saka.
Yeah.
It's not Gahey's fault, but he's not left-footed. So he can't really connect with Foden in the same way. And likewise, whereas Trent was connecting brilliantly well with Saka on the right, there was nothing on the left. So I accept that Foden wasn't that good overall, but I'm not going to accept what people are saying on the timeline. And again, it's this lack of context as well, which I think really frustrates me. In fact, I just responded to a tweet then. Someone was saying, well, Iniesta and David Silva could play out on the wing and do this, so why can't Foden? But Iniesta had Jordi Alba and Foden had Alexander Kolarov. What are they? Incredibly offensive, left-footed left backs. Yeah. So, again, sorry if I've been rambling here. This is a very frustrating topic. I accept that Foden wasn't particularly good, but if we have a look at it all, it wasn't even our worst forward, first of all. It wasn't even our worst forward. I'd say there were only 5 players who were undeniably better than him in terms of outfield players on the pitch. So this idea that Foden was absolutely terrible and a massive liability, I'm simply not having. And it just goes to show that people having that weird argument of, oh, Foden's not held to these high standards is absolute nonsense. I thought he put in a solid 6 or 7 out of 10 performance in that first half, and he's getting absolutely slaughtered. And it's just a sorry, I know I've been rambling. It's just a really weird analysis or lack therein.
No. I agree with pretty much everything he said. I think if you are playing him on that left hand side, which for me is a no-no. You absolutely spot on. I think you need like a Luke Shaw, or a Chilwell to be making runs down the wing so that he can play them in. You know what I mean? And they can have some sort of connectivity on there. Listen. I for me think the talk was a bit overdone. To be honest with you, like I just think like at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? I just think the way that England play and the way England set up, I don't think. Is he going to thrive in that position? Probably not. I also think that as well, people are probably glossing Jude Bellingham's performance a little bit better than it was. I mean, I think he played well, but some people are going on like some mad performance. I've seen some clips already this morning of so many times when Jude could have passed to Foden in great positions and he's just trying to take players on and that. So I just think this like, I don't know, weird. Harry Kane yesterday, poor for me, especially in that first half. Absolutely shocking. Hadn't even touched the ball. Should have scored in the second half. He kind of gets away with it. Everyone loves to jump on Phil Foden when Kane didn't really do much yesterday. You know what I mean? Kind of ghosted. So I don't know, man. I don't know why he takes the brunt of it. But for me, it all comes down to playing Trent in midfield. I think you play Trent in midfield, then he has to force Foden wide. And for me, that's just a no-no. I don't think Trent's good enough to play in midfield, especially at a tournament level. I don't think he's good enough to play there. If you're going to play Trent, play him right back.
I agree.
Just play him right back. I've said this in the past. I said, listen, I probably wouldn't play him right back in international games, tournament games, because I don't think he's good enough defensively. But I'm not going to cry about it like if he does play him there, because he's clearly very good going forward. Play him right back. I don't think he's good enough to play him in the middle of the pitch. Play someone else there. Play Foden in the middle, proper as the creator, and play Jude as the sort of box crasher, the guy who's coming onto it, Lampard-esque. And he can still create, he can still get forward, but it should be Foden in that further advanced position, connecting the midfield to Harry Kane. There's no reason, to me, there's no surprise really that yesterday Harry Kane didn't do anything. There's no one to connect the play to him. There's no one to connect our midfield to Harry Kane because Foden's out wide, so he can't do it. And Jude Bellingham that's not what Jude Bellingham does. I've watched Real Madrid a few times this year. And obviously, they don't really have an out-and-out striker right now. Obviously, next year they will, but this year they don't. He doesn't really do that. He doesn't really play those type of balls. He very rarely try to play these through balls. So for me, I just think we've got it the wrong way around. You want to play Trent, play him right back. Otherwise, don't play him at all. But he's trying to force all these players in. We know Trent's a generational player. We know that. He's clearly a very good player, you know what I mean? So he's trying to force all these players in. But by forcing them in, he's forcing them into the wrong positions. Because he clearly thinks, I can't play Trent right back because he's not good enough defensively. And no one can disagree with me on that. Because if he didn't think that, he'd be in ahead of Walker. Facts. Because Walker's not very good going forward. So he clearly agrees with the sort of majority view that Trent's just not very good defender. Now, I know Liverpool fans will come in here and say, yeah, he's a good defender. He's just not really. If we're being honest with you, he's very, very good going forward, generational in that aspect, but he's not a good defender. If he was a good defender, he would obviously be playing right back because he's miles better than Walker going forward. And if he was a good defender, he'd be playing right back. So he doesn't. So he's trying, I can't play him right back because he might cost me some goals. So what can I do? Well, I can't play him right wing because I've got Saka and I've got Pam. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll play him in that second midfield position. Oh, but that gives me a problem because I've still got Jude, I've still got Foden. So what do I do? Well, can't really play Jude left wing or on the left side because that probably wouldn't work. So I'm going to have to force Foden out. That's his mindset. That's the only mindset they can possibly come to. So for me, it starts by playing Trent back in his normal position, right back. And you know what? For the sake of the team, for the sake of balance, I actually think he should do that now. Yeah, although I think Walker actually played quite well yesterday.
He did.
Play Foden and Jude Bellingham in the middle. And I'd actually play Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side. Not sure on your take on that. But I think Anthony Gordon would provide an insane, just insane balance. Insane balance. I almost feel Anthony Gordon is almost made for international tournaments. I really, really do. You know, I mean, I think he's actually not too dissimilar in what Grealish can offer, but I think he's probably a bit more of a goal threat, in my opinion, than Jack Grealish. I'd play Gordon on the left. I play Saka on the right, Kane as a striker, Foden and Jude in the middle with Rice, and then obviously I'd have Trent at right back. And then you get much more of a balanced team. That thing that you're talking about there of the left back and the left winger not having sort of connectivity. Well, if Gordon's your left winger, then you will because he'll be on the wing, not inverting in field. So straight away you get an increase there. I just think that we're trying too hard to force players in positions that they're just not built for. Trent's not built for a midfielder, and Foden's not built for left wing. And the consequences are you get a little bit of a fractured team. And I said it before the game. I was in the pub with my mates, and quite a lot of people were saying, this is a great team. This is a great team. I said, well, it is a great team. Great players. But having 11 great players on the pitch doesn't necessarily mean success. PSG, for example, when they had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, didn't win the Champions League just because you've got the best players. And this is why when people talk about money and when people talk about, oh, you buy the best players, blah, 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 it's kind of like a moot point, really, because at the end of the day, look at Chelsea. You can buy big players. You can spend a lot of money. But at the end of the day, if you don't build a team, if you don't build an 11, bro, it's irrelevant. You've got to build a team. It's a team game, man. It really is. So yeah, that's for me. I just think we're just throwing players in the wrong positions, bro. I don't know if you've got anything to add. I'm just going to change my battery, by the way.
No, of course, all spot on, to be honest. And what that does is, because we've got no presence on that left side, because I'll repeat, the reason we don't have a presence is because we've got a right back at left wing for that first half. Second half was a bit different. We just changed our out of possession shape as well. It was very odd. It meant that we were totally reliant on our right side. And I thought Saka was great, by the way. But we can't. This is actually I don't know if irony is the right word, but this is a very similar issue to what City have experienced this season, where there was a stage in the season relatively early on where we were too reliant on our left side, i.e. Doku, and we had no presence down the right because of Kyle Walker's playing at right wing. So it meant that and this is now the exact opposite situation for England. We've got no presence down the left and we're forcing it down the right. And what happened with City this season, we tried to force a play through Doku too much and we ultimately became too predictable. And I do worry that, again, Saka was great, but how many times can he take the full offensive burden? There was this really good attack positioning graph, and basically it illustrates that 93% of our expected goals was created down our right side, 7% through the middle, 0% off the left. We have 5 attacks in total down the left compared to 14 on the right, and again 0 XG generated down the left. It's an issue caused by Southgate's failure to bring more than one left-footed left back, more than one left-footed defender, and the one left-footed defender he's brought, he's not able to start because he's injured. Luke Shaw. We didn't bring a Chilwell, we didn't bring a Branthwaite, we didn't bring that Davis that people have been talking about. I just don't understand that the squad building from Southgate, and that is ultimately a reflection of him. Why have we brought Watkins, Anthony, and Kane? Why have we brought? I
agree. When that there, by the way, is absolutely ridiculous. We brought 3 strikers when he only plays 1. And by the way, Kane can play like he did yesterday in the next 2 group stage games, and he'll still play the knockout game. He's not going to get dropped. That is an absolute joke. How he's took 3 strikers. That is an absolute joke. Is he ready? When you've got Grealish that you could have brought that could have added more. You could have brought an extra defender, like you say, like a Branthwaite or something, or something like that to bring,
or any left back.
Yeah, any left back like Livramento. Lee, I was speaking to Lee then on the last channel that you could have brought him. Anyone. I cannot believe he's brought 3 strikers. That is, for me, absolutely. It's just a waste of a position. It's just a waste of a player. And yesterday, by the way, yeah, you could have, when we went a little bit deeper and played a little bit more counter-attacking style, you could have gone, oh, well, in that case, we'll take Kane off and put Watkins on because now we're playing counter-attacking style. And really be tactical about it. If you want to be that ultra-tactical, no, he just left Kane on. So even when we start to say, oh, we're now playing more counter-attacking style, let's bring players on that are better for that counter-attack. He just still didn't play. He didn't make any changes. So for me, I just don't understand why he's done that at all. Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And again, it leads us into the situation where now we're like, oh, because that system in the first half works better if Shaw plays, but Shaw isn't fit. And when was the last time he played 5-6 games in a row? Even if he comes back, is he going to be at his sharpest? Almost definitely not. and so, but we have no other option. So I agree with you. We have to. I think we have to start Gordon actually on the left. You've got to drop Walker. You've got to put Trent into his actual position. And then actually that means you can start someone like a Wharton, who is a really good passer of the ball, and he can actually help out Rice in that midfield zone and actually link up really well. Now imagine a left-sided triangle of like Wharton and Foden and Gordon. That's actually a really nice idea and thought. And then you've still got Rice there. You've still got Trent at right back doing his thing with Saka. You've just got a much more balanced team, which actually puts our best players in their best positions. You'd have Trent at right back. You'd have the left winger at left wing. You have a midfielder in midfield. Jude can still play the 8-10 position. I think the most frustrating thing for me is it's not even a complicated solution.
I don't think so either.
Players are all there. Even though I think mistakes have been made in terms of the squad building, the players are there for it to work. And I just don't quite understand
Explain to See Heaven why you want to drop Walker, because he's right. Walker was very good yesterday.
It was very good
for people that have just joined maybe late and don't get it.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah. So I did address it earlier on. Yeah, he was brilliant. Genuinely, he was actually really good. But this isn't. I'm not dropping him to punish Walker. I'm arguing we should drop Walker for the sake of the squad as a whole, because
the benefit of the team.
Yeah, if you have Walker at right back, it means that Trent isn't at right back. And if Trent isn't at right back and he's on the pitch, that means he's in midfield. And if he's in midfield, it's not his fault. But that leads us into situations like Serbia's best chance, I think, of maybe the entire game, where we're trying to build out from the back. And it's not Trent's fault. But my biggest gripe with Trent is his ability to receive the ball with his back to play. And when the play isn't in front of him, he gives away the ball sloppily. Not his fault. It's not his position. And Serbia should probably score from it. And that happened throughout the game. So if you drop Walker, it means you can put Trent in his actual position. You still don't lose the on-ball work of Trent. It just makes the team a bit better defensively and able to build up overall. And then, as LB said, it means that then you can actually get Foden out and out central. And again, you can start one of Mainu or Wharton alongside a Rice, and maybe now leaning towards maybe more of a Wharton just because of his passing range. But either way, that's why I think that Walker should be dropped. And you've got to start Trent. I don't agree that, because we don't really have any other players like him. He's in the same way we also how good Kroos was for Germany. In terms of like his switches and his passing from deep, that's how I think Trent can be best utilized in a similar manner. I think he's got to be in the team.
Interesting, yeah, interesting views, guys. Make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so already. We got over 350 people tuned in on YouTube, 400 on X. So, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you smash a like. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well. And Nobbins' channel is linked in the description, so make sure you go subscribe to him there as well. Big up to MCFC, said Rob Dawson just dropped negative news. I hope he's waffling. Yeah, the news that he's dropped is this right here. Manchester City are prepared to head into next season with the same squad and may not make a major summer signing unless a player asks to leave and their valuation is met by another football club. If that's true, then RIP Rodri is all I'm saying. Because that is just a joke. If that is true, I'm hoping that this is fake news. Yeah,
it needs to be. Or I'll go on record and say we won't win the league next season.
Yeah, I think that is. If we don't sign a Rodri backup replacement, someone that can take the load off him, when we have a potential 75 games next season off of the back of the Euros, then that is just negligence. I'm praying. I'm hoping and praying that's fake. Yeah, I'm hoping and praying that Rob's wrong here. What is his credentials? He works at ESPN. So yeah, I hope that's fake news. I'm hoping that's fake news. He also goes on to say, there is another tweet. He also goes on to say, Bruno Guimaraes is set to be considered by Manchester City, but only if a midfielder asks to leave. But City don't value him at 100 million. So that's not really too great either. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what news he's had there. I'd be worried if another journalist comes out and says something similar, then I'm starting to get worried. But for now, I'm just hoping this is fake news, because if we don't sign a midfielder, lads, yeah, to replace Rodri / not replace him. You know what I mean? Like be a backup to him, take the load off him. Then
That's terrible. That's like borderline negligent squad building. We can't do 2 seasons of this, man. We can't do 2 seasons not replacing Gundogan. I don't know what's going on. Again, we won't win the league next season. If Arsenal get better, and they will with their signings, they were only like 2 points off us last season. We're not going to improve, so we're going to stay still. That means we're basically going backwards. We won't win the league next season if that happens.
I've got to hope that's fake news. I've got to hope that it's fake news. Sign says yesterday Ake got 2 assists. They gave man of the match to Gakpo. England was shit, but Foden gets all the slander. If you play for City, they'll never give you credit. Yeah, Ake, yesterday.
Brilliant.
Akanji for Switzerland. Great. You know, the City boys doing a good job, man. Doing a really, really good job. So, yeah, happy to see Ake slam. Happy to see
people giving Gavardio shit, but in the first instance, it was up against Yamal, who's one of the most exciting winger prospects in the world. And secondly, I thought he did well overall. And then thirdly, he was their only actual offensive outlet as well. So I think Gavardio played that quite well as well, to be honest.
Bro, the Gavardio hate is an illness. I'm telling you this now, yeah? First of all, I don't even think Yamal cooked him. People was like, yes, he did. I said, no, he didn't. Yamal played very, very well. He had a great game. But that doesn't mean he cooked Gavardio. You know what I mean? There are other defenders, there are other things that Yamal did. And Gavardio created one chance, which 100% should have been in the back of the net for the striker. That was at 2-0, by the way. And like you say, he was one of the better attacking options. I think what happened is with Gavardio, earlier on in the season, a lot of fans started hating on him. And people don't like to accept that they were wrong. So people are just going with it and just running with it. I've seen Gavardio this season play really well in some games, and I've gone on Twitter or something. It's Gavardio shocking. It's like, what? He literally.
Yeah, what did you watch, guys?
This is what it is, man. People just force narratives and force stuff, man. Like I thought Gavardio was all right. I thought Gavardio was pretty decent. So
and again, he was like literally their best attacking player from left back. Like,
correct.
Come on, guys.
Facts, man. Facts. Big up Signs, man. Yeah, Ake slamming it, bro. Ake, did he play left back? Yeah. I seen
Ake did, yeah.
I seen a couple of people say on Twitter, this is a good conversation, actually, good little debate. Is Ake, it might not be a debate because it might be over quite quickly, but is Ake a better left back than he is a centre back? Because I think he is. I think he's a better left back than he's a centre back. Or, you know what? His best position is probably a left-sided centre back in a 3, isn't it?
Yeah, because he loves defending those wide areas. He's really good at that. So I think that's spot on, yeah. I still have it was great offensively. There is still, he's not on the level of a Gavardio going forwards. That's never going to be the case.
In a 3, because if you're in a 3, you're probably not going far forward.
Exactly, yeah. So his best position probably is a left-sided centre-back in a back 3, which is where I like to see him play for City. And he can still contribute to the offensive phases, but he doesn't have to, be the main guy in that respect. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, okay. What a signing he was. A big up to AK as well. So it's big up Nobbins and LB. It all points down to one person, Southgate. Southgate out. AK wants Southgate out. Well, the thing is, right, you could still sack him. I mean, Ivory Coast sacked their manager and they went and won the AFCON. So, he's obviously not going to get sacked. And I think this is his last tournament anyway. I don't know, man. I just think that, with England, yeah, it's annoying because there's so much potential with that squad. There's so much potential with the team that we have. And we have good players. This is the annoying thing. We have a great striker in Harry Kane. We have Phil Foden, who's a generational talent. You know what I mean? People comparing him to Gaza. You've got Jude Bellingham, who's an exceptional player as well. Declan Rice is a solid 6. You've got a generational player in Trent, but we're too scared to play him right back because he's not a great defender. And it's just for me, I just think you just put your players in the best positions, and just send it. And this is my view, and I said it on the last stream, man. I've said it all summer. England don't win anything. We've not won anything since I've been alive. We're not won anything since, 66? Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So, here's the thing. We play really boring football under Southgate and still don't win anything. So, my view, play the players in the best position, go for it, full send the attack, full send the situation, and we probably still won't win, but at least we're playing our players in the best positions, and at least we're playing good attacking football. And if we don't win, it's like, oh, unlucky, like we did our best. But like, I feel like with England, when we watch England, it's always like we're always asking, oh, we should do this, we should do that. If we just play the players in the best position, if we just play Trent right back, if we just play Jude and Foden in the middle, just send it. What's the worst that can happen? And you know what's funny as well? And Lee said this on the last stream. England, the Premier League, not England, Premier League, fast paced. Yeah, everyone's attacking, everyone's trying to go for it. Why don't we just play like that?
Yeah, well, and this again, this is why it's so frustrating, because I'm not saying that England have the exact profiles that Germany do, but Germany played with 3 10s, 3 in Wirtz, Musiala, and Gundogan. So you can't convince me that we can't create a system whereby we can make 2 10s work. City have proven that it can be done. Arsenal have proven it can be done. Yeah, again, Germany have proven it can be done to the nth degree. It is very frustrating, and it, again, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I might be. But if we're being very, very practical, and we look at the level of managers in this competition, like Nagelsmann, for example, literally a Champions League quality manager, and we've got Gareth Southgate. If we're being honest with ourselves, if you had to assign him a club in the English football pyramid, where does he go? He's knowing the Premier League. He's not better than any Premier League manager. He's not better than Sean Dyche. He's not better than Eddie Howe, etc. I think he's a championship manager. So, and is that good enough for us, for England, who, rightly or wrongly, we are the favourites according to the bookies? We do have the best, some of the best players in the competition based on this season. I think if you made like a list of like the top 5 best players from Europe this season, I think 3 would be English in terms of like their performances for their club this season. So we've clearly got the quality individuals, and we've got the right profiles, but they need to be used properly. And what are the chances that we can do that with, again, if anyone wants to disagree with this, a championship quality manager? It's very unlikely.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've done this plenty of times. I've gone through the Premier League table and asked the chat, would that team take him? Would that team take him?
And like, can you remember where you got to? Because I wager
I
it was
think
the
I got to
championship.
like, to be fair, I think I got to like 15th.
Oh, okay.
But then even teams below that might be like, nah, like some of them wouldn't. I'd be very surprised if there's many Premier League fans that would take Southgate at the team. Very surprised. And that is a concern. It is a concern. Let's I want to touch on some more stuff that Rob Dawson's been saying, guys, because he's tweeted a little bit more. Let me come to some more of these super chats, and then we'll come on to his comments. He said something else as well. LB says City put in this court case before the first team. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, Lord Panic costs a lot of money in it. Bruno Guimaraes has to wait, bro. It has to wait.
When is that resolved? Because it's a 2-week thing, isn't it?
This week is the last week. Started last week, I think.
But
Did it start last week or it started the week before? I think it started last week.
Yeah, so the end of this week it should be done.
Apparently, at the end of this week, it's going to be
maybe done. It's all a ploy, and they don't want to splash out now, because then that would be like, because that it isn't a large part of the argument is we won't be able to spend as much, and this has restricted our financial position. It's probably not the best bargaining situation to be in, if you like, but you just spent 100 million on Bruno Guimaraes, so you can't be that down in the dumps. So maybe it's all a ploy, guys. We're just waiting for the trial to be done, for the arbitration panel thing to be sorted, and then we'll lock in and splash out and like a big middle finger when we ultimately lose that case. We'll go, right, well, sack this off then. We'll just sign Bruno. Boom. Yeah. That's what's going to happen, guys.
Next week.
Lock it in, guys. We will be there.
Yo, big up Tone, man, says top show lads. LB, need a follow-up show on Dawson stuff. Yeah, man, absolutely. I'll message you after this. What have we been saying for weeks? Why are people surprised that we need to sell first? It's madness. I'm not surprised that we need to sell first, because I've heard this all summer, but I'm surprised that we can't buy a Rodri backup without selling, is my opinion. Like any other position, like right back, left back, right wing, whatever. Yeah. We need to sell before we buy, whatever. That is what it is. But the Rodri situation, that is an SOS current situation. Yeah. We are raising the white flags here. Yeah, we need peace. We need someone that's be able to come in here and offer Rodri rest. Like, we shouldn't have to sell to buy someone that can help Rodri out. The rest of the team, I get it. If you want to sign a right winger or right back or left back,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
If
but
that's
not that.
true, I'm
Not
sorry,
that.
but we need to force someone out because we can't not go another
Nunes.
season of not replacing him. We've got. I
Nunes.
don't care how harsh that sounds. We've got to force someone out at that point.
It would have
This
to be
can't go unremedied.
Nunes.
You said it.
Yeah. Nine Men says, when we will start having the Stones conversation? I think the Stones we know is behind us.
I think that Stones yesterday. I think Stones yesterday looked like a player who has just come back from an injury or / fitness situation. I think he was fine in some moments, but he did look a little bit rusty and a little bit slow.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
In some
But
actions.
he has just apparently he had a fracture in his foot. Is that right?
Well, yeah. Well, and he was also sick as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was also sick. Yeah.
So to me, it looks like I think that's how I've interpreted that.
I actually want.
Sorry, go on.
No, go on. I interrupted you.
I was just going to say that I think that hopefully he will his fitness and sharpness will come into it as the tournament goes on.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, and I actually want him to play as much football in here as possible because I've said this before. Next season, you have to assume that Stones isn't going to be fit. I think you just have to assume that's going to be the case. You can't go into the season thinking about Stones is going to be fit all season because he's just. The history proves that isn't true. So you have to go into it thinking he's not going to be fit, and hopefully he can stay fit. When John Stones is fit and he's on it, he's one of the best defenders in the world. Yeah, but unfortunately, we all know that his fitness leaves a lot to be desired. Like he's always out injured. So I'm hoping he can stay fit for this whole tournament because if he can, England go far. He'll come back to pre-season, with like 2 weeks holiday. So he'll come back into the pre-season already quite fit, and hopefully next season he can get off to, a good start. If we're being honest, this season has not been a particularly great season for him, which is a real shame because I think after the way it ended last year, the treble year, when he had that brilliant performance in the Champions League final, everyone thought, oh my God, he can kick on. And just injuries always with him, just holding back. So I don't think it's a case now, man, where I think we have to have the conversation because I think we all just kind of know it anyway. He's 30 years old, so, it is what it is. I just think we're all aware of the current situation with Stones. Unless he's fully fit, he's well, the same with every player. If he's got to be fully fit to play, but he's never really fit. So it's a shame, really, because he's a top player.
Absolutely.
Let me bring up this last talking point before we end up wrapping up the show. By the way, guys, after this, Romania versus Ukraine, bro. Big game. Yeah. Live on More LB. All 3 games today. We are doing watch-alongs with every single one. The first one on the second channel after this game. So if you're watching on X, come over to More LB on YouTube and I'll be live doing a watch-along of Romania versus Ukraine. By the way, the bet's working, bro. The bet's working. We're currently up to what are we up to? We're up to £161.
What's the bet?
So I've not told you, but yeah, me and 4 of my mates, we all put a fiver in. Started off with 25 quid. Every game you put a bet on, and then the winnings you just put on the next one. So we've gone from 25 quid and now we're up to 161. So yeah, if we put Ukraine or a draw and 2 cards or more in the game, and that returns 220 if we win that. So that's the first bet. That's the first bet for 220, and we'll just keep on going and going and going. Right, here's the last talking point of the stream. Come on the screen. There you go. Pause. So far, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Ederson have not indicated to Manchester City that they want to leave. Huh? What?
I don't know what Bernardo's doing, man.
What is this? What's going on here, bro? You know what I mean? Like, this guy's been asking to leave for about 5 years. Yeah, Ederson, I thought, what's going on with Ederson, man? Is he leaving or is he staying? Because I'm not going to lie, I know the transfer window's only been open for like 3 days, but I'm already starting to get annoyed at this Ederson news. This Ederson talk, it's starting to wind me up. You know what I find, and I think a lot of fans are the same. Storylines about your players wanting to leave or not wanting to leave are so monotonous. It's fucking boring, bro. Yeah. Sorry to swear, guys. It's boring. Bernardo, if he's leaving, just leave. You know what I mean? Like, it's every single year for 2 months of the season, we have to sit here and talk about Is Bernardo Silva leaving this year? Yeah, he's got a release clause, 50 million. I think he's leaving. And he never fucking leaves. And now Ederson's joining the party. And now Kevin, it's just like, oh my God, man. You know what I mean? Just leave, man. If you're going to leave, just leave so we can get on with it. We have to sit here now until what? The end of August. I can't do another 2.5 months, bro, of looking at the same tweets. I'm going to have to mute him on Twitter. I'm going to have to mute Bernardo Silva, bro. I'm going to have to put him in the muted words. It's just boring. I can't be asked going for it every day, looking at it, seeing Barcelona want to sign Bernardo Silva. We'll pay the release clause then.
Yeah, this is maybe like one of the most underrated like traits of like, you know, some of our other brilliant players like Aguero or David Silva. Not once can I remember there ever being any genuine suggestion that either ever wanted to leave or was even close to leaving. There was, for Aguero, there was like a week where Chelsea were interested, and then Aguero and City just shut it down. So that's like an underrated trait of those great players. But yeah, it's just frustrating. I'd like Bernardo to stay because you literally can't replace him because he's a unique player. But we do need to know what's going on with Ederson. Again, I'm desperate for him to stay, but we can't have uncertainty. And again, even Kevin De Bruyne, we do need to, as a club, we need to know what's going on because otherwise we can't plan for potential replacements or squad building. It's very frustrating. I just can't wait for it to be over one way or another because it is monotonous. It is boring. Hopefully Ederson signs an extension this summer. Hopefully De Bruyne signs like a 1-year extension this summer. And then we'll see what happens with the incomings.
Do you think Ederson is actually like wanting to leave, or you think this is just like contract negotiation stuff, considering he's massively, massively underpaid?
I think it is partly that. I do also think there is something in he doesn't feel appreciated by City fans, I think. I think we mentioned it, like, you know, when it was like the trophy presentation, Ortega got a far bigger cheer and celebration than Ederson. I think he's looking at that and going, I did some good saves this season as well. Do you guys not remember like the saves I did in the Champions League final? Do you not remember like all the good stuff I've done? I just think that maybe he's feeling a bit underappreciated. Not only from a financial perspective, but maybe also from a sort of like maybe even like a fan interaction perspective. I don't know. I can like that tweet after Spurs was very cryptic, wasn't it? But that seemed to sort of suggest that is the case. I love Ederson. I've always backed him. Hope he stays. We need him to stay. There's no one out there that we can do what he does, to be honest. I just need him to stay. I hope it's a ploy. He doesn't actually want to leave.
Yeah. No, same here. City just need to give him the big cash, man. But obviously, again, we don't know like fully how much room do we have to give players pay rises with the FFP stuff. You know what I mean? We've got one of the highest wage bills in the league. Do we have much room? I don't know. I don't know how it all works, man. So, but anyway, it is what it is. Listen, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. I'm going live now on the second channel. More LB for Romania versus Ukraine Euro 2024. Make sure you guys get on it, man. It's gonna be interesting. Is the next bet coming in? Roll to Tesla. So I'm buying a Tesla if I win, bro. I'm going big. I need 44 grand. If I get to 44 grand, I'm buying a Tesla. My girlfriend doesn't know that yet.
No,
but
maybe keep that just between you and not her.
Yeah, I found it out. So you can buy a Tesla for £44,000.
What kind of Tesla? Model 3?
Why?
Why not? Ha! Do you see what I did there?
Yeah, it's nice. I like. Do you like the Y? We had a discussion on the stream the other day. A lot of the people in the chat didn't like the Y, but I like it.
No, the Y is good. The Y is a 3, but slightly larger at the back, isn't it? Because it's more for families.
Yeah.
That's a good car. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I like it.
Yeah,
right, roll to Tesla. We're going live right now. More LB. I'll put a redirect on so you guys can come over. But if you're watching on X or Twitter, just come on to more LB. Romania versus Ukraine. By the way, that Dovkik's playing as well for the striker for Ukraine, Girona striker. It's top striker, La Liga top scorer, so it should be decent. Make sure you guys smash a like on this one. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're watching back on the replay, give us all your thoughts and comments in down below. Make sure you are subscribed to Nobbins as well. Link in the description. He's doing a Belgium watch along later on at 5 p.m. So make sure you join in for that one. But yeah, cheers, bro. Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
And I'll catch you in the next one, bro. See you later.